Aloha family. Thank you so much for tuning in to the frequency of this conduit. I'm dedicating this video to your questions, viewer questions, and I like to jump right into it. We have a question here by Chad Roberts. What do you mean when you say waking up or to wake up? It's a really good question. It's a great question. I would say it usually starts, the first tier is usually when you start to tune into the conspiracy theories. You start to see certain things that just aren't right and certain things that are happening systematically with intent to numb and dumb down the masses on this planet. So you start to look into, all those things. You start to wake up to that more and more out of the dream of everything's perfect. The government doesn't lie. There's certain things that are really out of alignment with your truth, which is just love, which is just you want to see people happy because you're a being of spirit and you don't want control over anybody else because you're a secure being. Only beings that are incredibly insecure want control over somebody else. That's because they're in ego and they're in fear and they're in that density. They live in that density and they have to control, everything. That's what the ego is in its densest forms, control. And your spirit, you're the uncontrollable. You just start to see the things that they're doing, which, I don't even really need to speak on. They're really not important because if you don't give energy to that reality, it won't exist in your reality because that's how powerful you really are. But little things like that beings in denser realities are still experiencing, which is poisonous air and poisonous water and poisonous food, and you see that they're systematically doing this for a reason. First you ask what are they doing, but then when you ask why, that's what usually brings you into tier 2 of waking up, which is okay, why are they poisoning water, why are they poisoning air, why are they poisoning food, and there's much more to it than that. Why are they creating war and chaos and suffering and famine and disease? Why, When you ask that golden question, why, you move up to a higher level of awareness, a higher wakeful state, which is you're the most powerful thing anyone can control. You are energy. Literally, just energy. You're not this body. I'm not this body. I'm consciousness, energy, vibrating at a certain frequency. If they can get you to identify what you are, consciousness, boundless, infinite, perfect, with just this body, they can extract energy from that. Because you're identified with such a limited expression of what you are. And they can take your power and take your power and take your power, the more belief systems that they can layer upon your consciousness. And the more belief system, the more dense you are. And the easier you're controlled. Because these beings that seek to control, they only exist in this very low, dense bandwidth. That's where they exist, because they live in fear. They live in ego. That's what they're identified with. They're still consciousness, just like everything else, but they're very dense and they need control. So you wake up to, they're poisoning all this because we're moving into an age of purification, moving into an age of expansion, rapid expansion of consciousness, of awareness, and they're deathly afraid, because that's what they're in. They're in fear. That they will lose control of their food source, their energy source. If they can't get you to create anger and fear, any of the lower vibrational frequencies, if they can't get you to embody that, to send that out, they don't have food. That's their food. And the only way they can do that is if they can get you to believe that you're only this body. Because if you were totally in awareness that you're infinite and you're also piloting this body's a beautiful thing. It's a tool. Never demonize it. I love to have it. I love using it. I couldn't speak to you if I didn't. But if you're in awareness that you're fully infinite consciousness. No, nothing. No, even like a death threat on your vessel couldn't get you to embody fear, because you know that you're not this. You're free at that point, and they're just afraid of losing your energy, because you're no longer giving it to fear. You're no longer giving it to them. What is this all about? It's that you're the most powerful thing in all of creation. You're it. Your consciousness, your love, your vibrant awareness forever. They're afraid to lose their control over you. And so they poison food, so they poison air, they poison water, so that it distorts your frequency. If there's stuff in your body that vibrates too slowly, it's too dense, it works as an anchor to drag you down. And you, with that in your vessel, you can't vibrate up. Your consciousness can't vibrate up. It's weighed down by the thing you're identified with. So it's imperative that you purify the vessel and purify the thought, the mind, because you can just vibrate above them. Once you realize that they have no real control over you, the only control they have over you is your own belief systems that they have control over you. That own density, it anchors you. Oh, they control. Oh, you're controlled. Literally. The moment you agree, that's your reality. That's what we mean when we say, wake up. It means to awaken from the dream of thought, the dream of Jake. I understand now. I've vibrated fast enough and expanded enough to release my consciousness from just the identification of Jake. And when you do that, you realize that you're all of it. You're infinite, forever. There's no need to put yourself in a box. You are in complete remembrance of your eternal nature. Not a thought, not like an idea, not a belief, not a hoping. You experience yourself as that. You just see it. You, instead of experiencing yourself through this little lens, you experience yourself as what you are. The fabric of creation. The infinite awareness. Expanding forever. And then, you choose to densify and identify with this vessel because you have work to do here. Every planet is a school. And the idea is to advance your consciousness further and expand your consciousness further. So that is my answer for what it is to wake up. You wake up from the dream of thought, and you experience what everything is before it passes through my distortion. I see everything clearly, everything for what it is instead of what I think it is, because it's no longer passing. I've expanded beyond Jake. So there's different tiers of waking up, but at the highest tiers, it's waking up from this dream that you're in.